Okay, right about now is just about the perfect time to be burning stuff. The top leaves are pretty dry and they're easy to start on fire, but when you rake them up a little bit, it's pretty damp and wet underneath, so the likelihood of it getting out of control is much less right now. I mean, I really need to work on that shed, but I can't hardly pass up a good opportunity. You know, sometimes with homesteading and farming, it's all about times of opportunity. You know, you mow your hay when the weather says to mow it. You know, you burn stuff when conditions say to burn stuff. So a lot of it has to do with timing. And if you get your timing right, it can pay off big time. Like last year, I put my garden in 2 weeks before people usually put their gardens in. And it turned out that we didn't get any more frost after that, so my reward was I got to harvest all my vegetables a long time before everybody else did. Not only that, but it had time to produce more. But it very easily could have went the other way. I could have, you know, it could have frosted one more time and just killed everything. Now see, you can tell that nobody's been out here in a long, long time because there's basically no grass or anything growing underneath the leaves. These leaves, for, you know, 25 years have just been able to fall where they fall, rot where they rot, lay where they lay, you know. Nobody's messed with them or nothing. I mean, you can see how black that dirt is. That's kind of why I wanted to put a garden in up here. In Missouri, our soil is not really the greatest for growing stuff, so you usually have to amend the soil a lot. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I don't care for putting a bunch of stuff on it to make it grow. You know, they grew wild naturally, so I understand that a lot of plants didn't originally grow in this area, but most of them do okay. I think I'll go up to this tree and then stop. I don't want to get an area too large to manage. I mean, I could try to rake a perimeter around this whole little spot here, but it's like, you know, 200 feet long and 30 feet wide. That'd be a big area to try to manage by myself. I also wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of the spirit of homesteading. Before you decide that you want to homestead or be a homesteader, you need to look at yourself. And homesteading is more of an idea nowadays than a term to be defined. So, you know, to be a homesteader, you don't have to like work with horses and wear overalls and stuff like that. But, you know, there are certain characteristics that you need to look for within yourself, and if you don't have them, don't even try it. First of all, you need stubbornness. Just a pig-headed will to get something done, no matter what stands in your way. Absolutely letting nothing stop you in your mission. Another characteristic is a good work ethic and hard working. Now, I don't mean, you know, you go to a 40-hour-a-week job and you go to work every day and you're on time and you do your job. I'm talking about waking up before the sun comes up, going outside, eating breakfast, going outside, doing all your chores, taking care of your animals and whatever you got to do, and then staying out there all day doing just back-breaking, mind-numbing work. I'm talking the worst kind of manual labor you'll ever dream of. You know, I'm talking about, you know, cut that tree down and then spend 9 straight hours digging it out, chopping out the roots, trying to dig that stump up out of the ground. If you're not willing to do that, don't homestead, because there's a lot of stuff like that where you just have to keep at it and keep at it, and man, it seems like a daunting task, but you just gotta put your back into it and your little bit of elbow grease and get it done. I mean, I've had some of the worst dang jobs you've ever heard of. I used to be on an asphalt crew laying pavement, and my job was just to shovel asphalt all day. Just tons of asphalt every day, just shovel by shovel, 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week. Man, I'm telling you, there's some of this stuff, homesteading. My grandpa had a horse, and he used to plow 40 acres of field with a single horse and a walk-behind plow. You know, that kind of stuff, you know. And you can be a homesteader and have tractors and stuff like that, but what happens if your tractor breaks down? You still got to get your work done, you know. Most farmers nowadays, oh, tractor's broke down, I can't plant my field. Now, how much sense does that make? You can't plant your food that you need to eat to survive because your tractor's broke down. It shouldn't take a tractor, you know. A family of 5 can live off of an acre or 2 if it's managed properly. So you don't have to go out and plant a 40-acre field of corn. You know, my grandpa just planted a 40-acre field to make money. You know, that wasn't a survival type of thing. They did obviously eat some of it, but anyway, I thought I would just share that. You know, if you're not willing to just, I'm talking, break your dog back down every day, day in, day out, don't do it. I mean, it's just like the splitting wood thing. A lot of people were talking about how much they hate it and stuff like that. You know what? Splitting wood is one of the easiest jobs on the homestead, so if you all hate splitting wood, I understand people get older and stuff, but man, if you hate splitting wood that much, you're going to really hate everything else bad. Anyway, that's just my opinion, though. You know, people can do whatever they want. Homesteading is an idea. You know, it's different to everyone. So, and I'm not personally. If I see one of you guys, you know, out there with, you know, all kinds of technology and doodads and big, huge air-conditioned tractors, I'm going to tell you, you know, good job. You know, live how you want. I'm not going to put anybody down for anything, but you know, that's just my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth, which ain't much. Now we just stand here and watch her burn. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but even though we're not going to be living out here very soon, this spring, actually we're getting all our stuff together for starting our seeds indoors now. So before too long, I'm going to be putting in a garden out here. You know, it's just downhill from the pond that we were fishing in. So I can just run me a hose to that pond and just gravity flow water to the garden and just water the garden out of the pond with no electricity. And I'm going to be out here almost every day anyway to take care of it, so we're going to go ahead and put a garden in out here and see how she does. Like I said, I don't use fertilizer or anything. If it grows, it grows. If it don't, it don't. So you might not get as high of a yield that way, but I know darn well there's nothing in the soil that ain't supposed to be there. So, also I wanted to talk about a couple of plans I have for the homestead. As everybody knows, we plan on getting goats, pigs, and we already have chickens. We had rabbits. We got rid of the rabbits. I got tired of them. They're not, you can't survive off of rabbit meat anyway, so what's the point, I guess. Anyways, what I'm planning on doing is maybe getting a couple of mules. And some people might think it's weird to get mules instead of horses. I'm going to give you a few reasons why you would want a mule over a horse. Number one, now this is all basically studied, scientific stuff that you can just look up. Horses tend, not all horses, but most horses on average, tend to be a lot more skittish than mules. A horse, if it gets spooked, will just take off in a dead sprint. I mean, they'll run face first into a barbed wire fence sometimes. A mule, if they get spooked, they'll jump a little bit, but just stop. Now, it's a fact that mules are logical thinkers. They assess a situation and they think about what they should do about a certain situation. Now, that's what makes them a little more stubborn than horses, because, a mule will think about, well, why should I do this? Versus a horse, which is more like a dog, and a horse just wants to please you, so they'll do whatever you ask them to do. You can work a horse until it has a heart attack and dies. A mule, you can work them hard, but as soon as they start getting too tired, they themselves know, hey, this is, getting ridiculous. I'm tired. I'm not going to go until I'm ready. So a mule will actually stop before they injure themselves or anything like that. And then once they, calm down and rest for a minute, then they'll go again when they feel like they need to. And that, to me, that's like a, that's like almost like a safety valve type of deal, If you're a little bit inexperienced with horses and things like that, you can work them to death. I mean, the Pony Express riders used to, run their horses so hard and so far that they would just fall over dead. So, a mule won't do that. Also, one of the other main reasons that you would want a mule over a horse is they winter a lot cheaper. Okay? If you didn't want to, you would never have to give a mule grain. You could just feed them hay. And it doesn't have to be special hay like alfalfa or anything like that. Just regular grass hay is completely fine for a mule. And they eat a lot less than a horse. You can keep full food all day in with a mule, and they won't eat themselves into a situation where they don't want to work. They'll just eat whatever they need, and that's it. So, and a lot of people, don't like it because, they want to enter them into shows and stuff, but mules won't hardly put on fat. It's because they won't overeat. Horses will eat until they die, just about. Anyways, and mules can pull just as much weight as horses, if not more, because a mule is more sure-footed. You see all the time horses trotting along and they stumble, and they might not fall down, but they skip a step or they stumble, or their foot rolls over and stuff like that. A mule doesn't hardly do that. A mule is a lot more sure-footed than a horse. And I'm not going to enter any contests. I just want a couple of mules so I can plow with the mules. I can skid logs with the mules, and I can hook a little cart or even a wagon to them and go up the road once in a while if I want to. Kids really would get a kick out of that. So anyway, just some thoughts on mules versus horses and what we plan on doing. I plan on getting a couple of mules. They're easier to take care of. They're a lot cheaper to take care of. I'll probably give them maybe half a scoop of grain or something every day or every other day, just as a treat. But,
You know, you would never have to feed them grain if you didn't want to. Also, vet bills. Mules are a lot more healthy. A mule can live to be, you know, 30, 40 years old. And so could a horse, I guess. The average horse lives 15 years. The average mule lives 18 years. And when you take a mule to a vet, believe it or not, it's cheaper. It costs less for a vet to treat a mule than it does for a vet to treat a horse. So, just some food for thought if anyone was thinking about really getting back to the old ways. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off for now so I'll have enough battery to film some lumber milling and some shed building. Okay, now, just so you can see what kind of a difference this makes, I'm going to be burning off this section right here next. You can see there's just tons of brush in there. Sticker bushes, wheat, just tons and tons of brush. It's thick. So here's the before shot. Okay, so while that burns, I think I'll have a pickle. Mmm. I don't know if you could hear that crunch, but they've been canned since, let's see, probably about July. And they're still real crispy. And they're so darn good. It's just a simple recipe, and it just, man, best pickles I ever had. Alrighty, here we are after. Basically, all we're left with is the sticker bushes. All the other weeds, grass, leaves, everything else is gone. So we can easily just run over those with the riding lawnmower and take care of those sticker bushes. But we've done something else along the way. Let's go take a closer look. Okay, another thing we've done here, I'm sure everyone is well aware we have tons of rocks in Missouri, so if you watch my last video you understand that fully. But what we've also done is cleared away the ground cover where now we can see where all the rocks are, so we don't run over them with a lawnmower. So basically you can just take your rake and just brush it along. There's another one. You can hear them hit the rake. Now that's about the same size as a football. There's a bunch in here. Basically, you can just drag your rake around and just uncover all the rocks.